So let's talk about determining the value of your domain name. Now, first of all, you might be surprised to hear that it makes absolutely no difference. For Local Domain Empire, we're providing a valuable web property regardless of the domain name's actual value. So one of the most frequently asked questions I get is, what's my domain worth? And that can be a difficult thing for people to understand and wrap their heads around because there is so much variance in domain names. And I'm going to go over some ways for you to determine what the value of a domain name is, but keep in mind that it really doesn't apply for Local Domain Empire because a local domain stands on its own. It's based on a specific term that businesses want to use. It's based on a specific keyword that will attract customers to their main website. On the other hand, if you use some of the tools that I show you, you may be able to establish a number that may be useful in showing the potential buyer what the statistics show. So let's talk about this a bit. It's a pretty common saying that a domain name is worth only what somebody is willing to pay for it. And while that may be true, it's more accurate to say that your domain name is worth exactly what you paid for it. Think about it. If the domain was freely available for you and for the rest of the world to register, why would it have any value beyond the registration fee? And the real answer to that is you create the value and you locate the specific customers that have a need for the domain name and property that you're offering. Now, when you browse the various listings for domain sales and you see what the domains are listed for, those prices are absolutely meaningless. Those are mostly people that just put a high price on domains in hopes to sell it for big money. In most cases, domains will never sell for the prices they are listed and being offered for. What's more important is what they have actually sold for. So let's take a look at some ways to check what the market value is for a domain name. So here are two common ways of doing this. There are valuation services and there are real-world sales figures. A valuation service, whether it's human-based or web-based, automation-based, is almost always highly inaccurate because nobody can determine what a potential buyer is willing to pay. And in my experience over the past 10 years, almost all the domains I've ever sold for hundreds and thousands of dollars were valued at just registration fee. Or, $50 or maybe $100 in some cases. But I've sold them for $500,000, several $1,000s, even though I only paid $7 or $8 to register them. So keep in mind that valuation services are not accurate, but they may offer some insight as to what domain is better than another. Now, the real world sales figures, that's a different story. You can research to see what domains have sold for in the past and compare them to your particular domain name to see what the value might be. It's sort of like shopping for a house. You want to do comps in your local area to see what houses have sold for in your neighborhood. So when you sell your house, you know what to price it for. Or when you buy a house, you know what to expect to pay. But before we get into the real world sales, let's talk about the two best valuation tools there are right now. I believe they're Estabot.com and Valuate.com. They're very solid valuation services, even though you can't base everything on the numbers that they give you. It gives you an idea and a feel for the market. But again, many of them will be valued very low, even though you can sell them for much, much higher. So let's take a look at both of these. So here we are at Estabot.com, and of course it's just Estabot.com is where you go. And all you need to do is type in a domain in this slot. So we'll try BirminghamLandscapers.com. Okay, and just click Appraise. So you see they're estimating this at a value of $430, but I'll tell you right now we can get much, much more for it. It's all about finding the right customer that really wants the domain name. But even if you did sell it at $430, remember you only paid $3 or $4 to register the domain name, maybe even 99 cents. So making this kind of a markup on that purchase is a fantastic return. And if you scroll down, you'll see some comparatives that they've done. LocalLandscapers.com sold for $1,000. Birmingham Bank sold for $1,095. Birmingham Business sold for $1,200. Birmingham News and Birmingham Golfing sold for $430. Then they give you some analytics here, average search results and so forth. So don't even pay attention to this. I'm just showing you what it does. But basically, this is how you get an automated appraisal of your domain name, and take that with a grain of salt. Now let's go to Valuate.com. And it's very much the same process. Simply type in your domain. I'm typing in BirminghamLandscapers.com again, and then click Valuate. And here we have the same appraisal amount, $430. I believe this service is run by the same people as Estabot, so that's why you're getting the same number. It's just a different service, and you get some other data here. So I'm not going to explore the site any more than this. I just wanted to give you a quick overview of how these work, and it's very simple. Okay, so now let's take a look at the actual sales data that domains have sold for in the past. This is the best way to determine the value of your domain name, is by comparing it based on the same criteria as other domains that have sold. 4 different websites that'll help you do this are namebio.com, soldnames.com, dnsaleprice.com, and dnjournal.com. Let's take a look at each one of these. So here we are at namebio.com. That's namebio.com. And this is a service where you can look up the sale price of a particular domain name, or look up based on a keyword. So I'm just going to use a keyword, and I'm going to go with the advanced search here, and I'll show you why. I'm going to type in Boston, and I'm going to choose .com. Placement anywhere, that's where the word is placed in the name. And I want to eliminate the hyphens, the numbers, and the I, D, and S's. And just click search. And what you get is a list of domains that have actually sold and what they sold for. So you have Boston Lobster for $720, Boston Loan for $525. That's a really cheap price for that name. Fit Boston for $1,477, Boston Apartment Rental. So you get the idea. It gives you an idea of what the local domains are selling for. So now let's go to soldnames.com. And that brings you to domaining.com actually. But here's a list of domains that have sold with the prices. Here, look at this. These are in the millions of dollars, so they're the top domain names that have sold. And you can just browse through this site to see what prices are being received for various domain names. And then we have dnjournal.com. And here they report the sales consistently for various services, and they list them all. So it gives you an idea again of what domains are selling for. So there you have it. Those are ways you can look up domain values and figure out what your domain is worth. But like I keep telling you, you really don't have to worry about what the value is of your domain name, because we're providing a keyword domain that is perfect for local businesses, and we're giving them a valuable web property at the same time. But these facts and figures are good to know just to give yourself an idea of what we're doing.